My name's Ellie, and first of all just want to say thank you very much to Emma for inviting me along, and thank you to you guys for taking time out of your busy schedules to come along and to further your knowledge on nutrition and goal setting. Now what I'm going to get you to do first of all is get out of your comfort zone and first of all stand up and go and sit next to somebody that you don't know and introduce yourself, please. So let's all get up to do that now.
I did last year.
And then you need to sit down next to them as well. It'll be easier for me because there's not quite as many patrons. Great, so we're all sitting next to somebody that we just met, is that right? Cool, so you're going to talk to them a little bit more later on, but first of all I'll just start by letting you know what we're going to cover tonight. So as Emma mentioned, we're going to be covering nutrition and goal setting. Okay, now these are subjects that we could talk for hours and hours on. We've only got 1 hour tonight, so we're going to spend half the time on nutrition and half the time on goal setting. Okay, so I'll start by telling you a little bit about what I do, and then we'll move into nutrition. And in the nutrition side of things, we're going to be talking about a bit about sort of what, how and when to eat, and some habits that are going to help you to be successful. And then in terms of goal setting, I'm going to share some of my goals with you and show you how they follow some principles of goal setting. And then you're going to use your pieces of paper to set your own goals, long, medium and short term. And we're going to talk about how you can be accountable to those goals as well. Okay, so a little bit about me first of all. So I run a business called Natural Balance Health and Fitness, and we inspire people to make positive changes to their health, fitness and lifestyle and to sustain these changes for the rest of their lives. And we do that through providing one-to-one personal training, group fitness classes and corporate wellness programs. But I am the proud mother of an 8-week-old baby, so baby girl called Ayla. So at the moment I'm taking the time out from personal training and group fitness, and I'll just be working on developing our corporate wellness programs, of course looking after Ayla, and also writing a book or two, which I'll tell you about at the end as well. Okay, so that's a little bit about me. We're going to begin on nutrition. Now, the nutrition that I'm going over tonight, we're just covering basic principles, okay, that are going to help you to be healthy, fit, strong, help you to burn body fat as well. So hands up if you want to achieve one or more of those things. Be healthy, fit, strong, body fat. Does anybody want to achieve something that I didn't cover in those few? So we're not going to cover how to get really big and bulky. Okay, that's sort of like a specific area, but the principles that I'll cover will help you to burn fat effectively. They will help you to have more energy and just to feel better generally. Okay, so we're going to start by talking about the what, and I encourage you guys to give your opinions and your input and stuff along the way. Like I said, we are quite limited on time, so we are just sort of going to go bang, bang, bang a little bit. So let's start talking about the what of nutrition. Portion sizes to begin with. So first of all, who can tell me what you should have on a plate? Typical dinner plate or a lunch plate. What sort of components do you think should be on there? Protein. Protein, yeah, protein. What sort of foods are protein foods? Meat, chicken, fish. Pulses, yep, so those are sort of vegetarian alternatives to protein. What else apart from protein?
Veggies.
Veggies, yep, plenty of veggies. Or
Carbs.
yeah, carbohydrates. So what sort of carbohydrates? Potatoes, pasta, yep. And what else? What else should be included in a meal, do you think?
Fat.
Fat, yeah. And what sort of fat do you think would be a healthy type of fat to be included in?
Vegan? Is it vegan?
Omega, yeah, so where will we find that? Fish, yeah, so fish is sort of, you're going to get a bit of your fats and a bit of your proteins.
Olive oils.
Olive oil, yeah. Good, so those are our three sort of macronutrients, protein, carbs and fat. So how much, like if we think about a plate size, how much of that should be filled with vegetables or salad, do you think? Yeah, about half. And what about protein? How do we know how much meat to have on our plate?
Size of
Yeah, about a quarter, or the size of your palm or your fist. Okay, so those are all good indications. And then the other part of the plate, what do you think that could have on it?
Carbohydrates.
Your carbohydrates, yep, so that could be your potatoes if that's what you're going to have, or it could be things like your legumes and beans and things as well, because those are carbohydrates. You've also got to remember that your vegetables are carbohydrates as well, okay, so you may choose not to have potatoes and rice and things like that, but if you do decide that you're going to have those on your plate, what sort of portion size do you think they should be? Quarter of your plate?
At the most, I mean.
Yeah, quarter at most. So again, sort of like that fist size or palm size, so similar to your protein. Now, in typical sort of New Zealand meals, I guess we quite often eat things like spaghetti bolognese, or we might have like a pizza meal, even maybe a homemade pizza, or a rice dish or a pasta dish. So do you think like, typically those follow those sort of guidelines? No. Or is it a typical sort of meat and 3 veg meal might? Okay, but portions are one thing to consider when you're looking at a healthy intake for nutrition. Any questions on portions? No? Okay, so we should be trying to take in as many natural foods as we can. Now, what do you think fits into that category?
Fresh.
Fresh?
Close to their original state that they started at.
Exactly, yeah. So it's close to the original state. So that's things that are maybe growing in the ground, that come off trees, or that come from something living, perhaps. Okay, so they're usually the things that you find at farmers markets or around the outside of the supermarket. So not usually much of the things in the aisle. So lots of people say to me, well, is pasta a natural food? I mean, what do you guys think? Not really, no. Well, when was the last time that you saw a pasta tree or a pasta growing out of the ground? Probably not ever. So just have, consider that when you're thinking about what to put in your supermarket trolley and then in turn on your plate. Organic, why would I say eat lots of organic foods?
Because they're good for you, because they're not, they've been sprayed and stuff like that.
Yep, so they haven't been sprayed.
Processed.
In terms of fruits and vegetables. Yeah, so again, they're as close to their natural state as possible. So you're just limiting, I guess, the amount of toxins that you're putting into your body. So if you're eating a lot of processed foods, so foods out of packets and cans and things, you'll find that they've got other sorts of additives. They may not have been sprayed with herbicides and pesticides, but they'll have colourings and flavourings, and basically things that have been made in a factory, so they will be added to those foods. Okay, and the more of those sort of things that you put into to your body, the more that your body has to work hard to then eliminate them, and the less time that it's going to spend doing things like fat burning, the less energy you're going to have as well. So as much as you can, really try and incorporate as much organic food as possible, which probably farmers markets would be the best place to find that. Otherwise, growing your own as well, and again limiting the amount of packet and canned foods that you eat. Water. Who drinks lots of water? Everyone knows they're meant to drink water, right? How much water should we be drinking?
About 2 litres a day.
About 2 litres, yep. So there's these different guidelines, there's sort of body weight related calculations that you can do, but as a general guideline, sort of 6 to 8 glasses is a good amount. And that's just based on national nutritional guidelines, but when are you going to need to drink more? Exercising, yep.
It's hot.
When it's hot, you're sweating a lot. Yeah, so those are the main times. If you're exercising, you're going to need to drink more. If you're sweating a lot, you're going to need to drink more as well. So as we go through this list, I want you to think about the areas that maybe you're not doing so well in at the moment. Okay, you might know all this, but are you doing it? Okay, because if you're not, then you might want to consider that one or more of these points is going to form part of your goals that you're going to write a little bit later. Okay, protein, carbs and fats, we've sort of touched on that, and I just want to stress that it is important to have a combination of those at every meal and every snack if you can as well. Okay, so for example, a healthy snack might be to have a piece of fruit. To make it even better, could you add a handful of seeds or a handful of nuts? Okay, why would you want to do that, do you think?
Protein?
Protein
Good
and
fats.
fats. Yeah, so nuts and seeds, they have protein and fat. Your fruit is carbohydrate. And so aside from just covering those major macronutrients, what other benefit do you think there would be?
Slower release of energy.
Slower release of energy, yeah. So your fruit is primarily carbohydrate, okay, which is essentially sugar, okay, which is a good type of sugar, but it will release energy into your body quite quickly by itself. Whereas if you add that protein and that fat to go with that, it will slow down the release of that sugar. Therefore, it will make you feel fuller for longer. Okay, so you won't be as likely to be starving by the time you get to your next meal. Okay, and why I say a handful, that's just a good idea of a portion size. Is this what you tell them?
Actually, Emma. Where was Emma? Where's Emma? Yeah, see?
Yeah.
Emma's always telling these guys at the back there. Protein, eh?
Awesome. And you can think of other combinations as well. You could have like vegetable sticks, for example, with hummus, or you could have, depending on what type of crackers they are, but a healthy type of cracker with hummus or cottage cheese or something. Or you could add avocado, that would be giving you your fats, or maybe some salmon or something like that. So it's thinking, well, how can I get a little bit from each food group? And you should be able to get that in your snacks as well as your main meals. Okay, so slowing down the release. You guys might have heard of like the glycemic index before, have you? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that's a measure. It's a measure given to carbohydrate foods, and it measures how quickly sugar is released into your body. Okay, so if you add that bit of fat or that or that bit of protein, that will drop the glycemic index of the meal, and it will release the sugar into your body more slowly. Okay, it will help you to burn more fat as well. Any questions on that? Good. Okay, and the last point that I just wanted to mention in terms of what you should be eating is eating right for you. Okay, because we're all individuals, we all respond differently to different foods. Okay, if legumes make you really full and bloated and they hurt your stomach, do you think you should eat loads of them? No. Okay, so what responds well with me is probably going to be different to all of you guys. Okay, some people just have different insensitivities. You may find that if you cut out a certain food for a while and then you slowly reintroduce it, that it might be okay for you. But there just might be a build-up of something that's been in that food that's responding badly with you. So a good idea is to sort of monitor how you feel after eating certain foods. By way of a food diary perhaps, which we'll talk about a little bit later, and just see what's actually responding badly with you. So what's making you feel tired or bloated or grumpy or anything. Okay, sore stomach, that's not how food should make you feel. Okay, so note it down and then sort of change the makeup of your diet from there. Some people do better on higher protein diets, some people do better on higher carbohydrate diets too, so sometimes you have to just play around with the mix of those macronutrients a little bit. Okay, so when to eat. Okay, regular meals are most important, so at minimum breakfast, lunch and dinner. What are your guys' thoughts on, should you be eating snacks, should you be eating morning and afternoon snacks as well, or, yeah? Yes, do we have to? No.
If you're not hungry.
No, and it depends what the makeup of your meal is as well, and what sort of person you are. Like, I'm a person who can't really survive very well without that morning and afternoon snack. It might be because I'm a vegetarian as well, so I tend to have sort of higher carbohydrate food, I guess, which then makes me need to eat a little bit more often. Okay, but if you feel satisfied and you're, having a really good balance of those macronutrients in your main meals, then breakfast, lunch and dinner may be enough for you. In terms of like calorie intake, it's really going to be measured over your whole day. Okay, so it's not, it's not going to be right for everyone to have lots of small meals. Okay, yes, your metabolism works when you eat. You don't want to be skipping meals, because anyone who skips meals is going to go into sort of a famine mode. By the time they go to eat their next meal, they're going to be more likely to store fat as well. Okay, so minimum breakfast, lunch and dinner. If it's right for you, then add in those snacks as well. What about water? When should we be drinking that, do you think?
All the time.
All the time, specifically?
I've heard you shouldn't be drinking water during a meal.
Yeah, why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Don't know?
Because I feel it somewhere.
15 minutes before a meal.
Yep, I think that's a good rule to go by. Do you have your hand up?
Oh no, I was just going to say, if you have it during the meal, it fills you up, so you don't eat what you should be eating.
Yeah, I think if you had it during the meal, yeah, it would fill you up more. The theory behind not having it during your meal is that you require your stomach acids to actually do quite a lot of work with your meal, and if you're drinking water, that can dilute the stomach acids, which is not really a good thing either. So we don't want to be drinking large amounts of water at meals. Like, by all means have sips and things, but you really want to focus on having your water in between meals if you can. Okay, so the stomach acids can do their work effectively.
Is that the same for alcohol? Someone's going to ask it.
Well, where do we think that alcohol fits into? Do we think it fits into the natural? I mean, yeah, no, it's not a totally a natural food, but yes, in small amounts it would be fine. Again, I would sip it with a meal rather than or before your meal. Yeah, small amounts. And also eating straight after exercise. So why would I have written that there? Why is that
To
important?
replenish your stores that you just used up.
Yeah. So a lot of my clients would always say, I don't want to eat, I've just done all this hard work and I'm going to ruin it by eating. And I'm like, you're going to ruin it by not eating. Okay, if you don't eat, you're going to get extra hungry later. You're going to be more likely to overeat. And that's when your metabolism is functioning at its highest as well. So it's really wanting to burn fat at that stage. So yeah, you need to take first of all carbohydrate on board, and then usually protein as well to help with your muscle repair, or make you less likely to overeat later. Okay.
I'll just make one point.
Yeah.
Gelbix.
Don't go on carb overload like I did on Saturday.
after workout. Well, with the amount of training that you do, Emma, I'm sure that you.
No, she let the team down.
I was very ill.
What sort of carbo overload are we talking?
In the recovery time.
Subways.
Subways and tomato soups and muffins and
And it can be hard when you're doing that really, like Emma's doing half Ironman training still, aren't you?
I've done it.
You've done it.
Yeah.
There's not the carb
Well, there you go. Yeah. So that's what carbohydrates are for, and our endurance training. So if you're going to train for a half Ironman, chances are you probably need that amount to replenish your stores. So let's finish with how we should be eating. So first of all, slowly. Why do you think we should be eating slowly?
Enough time
Your
to get
brain
brain a
tells
signal
you.
that you're full.
Yeah, enough time for your brain to signal that you're full, definitely. So if you scoff it all down really, really quick, you're probably going to tend to eat a lot more than you actually need. Also, that's going to be a lot for your body to process, okay? So it's going to be harder for your body to actually function effectively and therefore burn fat as well. Okay, I've got a friend that finishes his meal before anyone else even starts, pretty much, and he's always saying, what's the best thing I can do to lose weight? How can I lose weight? What's the best type of exercise? What's the best food? I'm like, just eat your dinner at the same speed as your wife, and that would be a really good start. But it just forces him to sort of overeat and expand his stomach all the time. So it's not a healthy thing for our digestive system. Why would I say maybe 80% full?
Room for dessert.
Dessert, perhaps, yeah. There's plenty of healthy desserts out there. Or there are countries where they do always just eat till they're 80% full, and it's another thing, you know, with eating slowly. If you eat till you're 80% full, you're not going to feel as heavy, and you're not probably going to feel like you just want to sit down on the couch. You're probably going to realise in 20 minutes, half an hour, that you're not hungry. Okay, especially if you've had that combination of the protein, carbs and fat, the good balance in your meal. Okay. Say for lunch, this is just a tip that I like to do. I always cook double recipes. Okay, I'm busy. I don't have time to you know, make dinners and lunches, and I don't have time to make dinner every night either. So quite often it might be Sunday, me preparing a whole week's worth of meals. Okay, so think of ways, you know, if you find that maybe one of your shortcomings is actually just being prepared, think, well, how can I get more prepared? So can I do more cooking on a Sunday and, you know, make little freezer portions? Or can I make double recipes and say for my lunch, like, where's my downfall? Do I always have takeaways for lunch? Okay, so you guys will need to decide those. 80-20 rule, what's that all about?
Always eat 80% good and 20% bad.
Yeah, so it's not an always, but that is the rule. Okay, that 80% of the time, you should be trying to follow these rules sort of down to a T, and 20% of the time don't sweat it, okay? Because if you deprive yourself and you don't ever have that dessert that you want, or that chocolate bar or whatever it is that you want, and there are healthy versions of desserts and chocolate bars and things that we can have as well, but if you always say I can't have it, you're much more likely to binge as well. But 80% is quite a high portion. So if you think of like 10 meals, 8 meals of those have to be really, really good, following all these rules. And then, you know, I like to use my 20% for when I go out, which is not that often, or when I go to other people's houses as well. So I don't worry about, oh, they're serving me up this big like bready dish and this big pasta meal or something, and I just eat it and enjoy it. And I find that, yeah, those foods don't affect me badly because I just sort of save it for those occasions when I'm out or when I'm at other people's houses. Style of cooking. So how could that affect the goodness of our food?
There's no point eating while you're frying everything.
Frying, yeah. What other ways of cooking, I guess, would decrease sort of the nutrient value of your food?
Raw, overboiling.
Overboiling, yeah. So yeah, just consider with your style of cooking, you know, light stir frying, having a good portion of raw food on your plate as well, steaming, you know, as opposed to boiling. So think about the ways that you can keep the food as close to its original nutritional value as possible. So any questions on the sort of what, when, how? We're just going over just really basic principles again. I just want you to sort of think of the areas maybe where you need to sort of step up and which might come into your goals. Cool, okay, we'll keep going then. Just want to talk briefly a few habits that are going to help you with your nutrition. So first of all, planning. What does that involve in terms of nutrition? What sort of things do we need to plan?
Shopping.
Shopping, yeah. So writing shopping lists, sticking to them if possible. I do all my shopping online, so I only buy what's on the list, whereas I find I spend about double and I buy a whole lot of extra stuff if I actually go into the supermarket. So if you can, use a list. Plan when you're going to go shopping, first of all, because you want to go before you've run out of food. You want to write your shopping list. What else do you need to do to plan? What about preparation? What sort of things are going to help you be prepared to eat well nutritionally? So sort of you planned your meals. What steps need to come next? No idea? Okay, what about things like having useful items handy, like we talk about drinking water. So having a water bottle at your desk, having a water bottle in your car, having a water bottle on the table, so, you know, reminding you to drink water. What about having useful items handy, such as, you know, if you decided that you were going to make some smoothies for breakfast or lunch, so having the blender actually there. So I have my blender sitting on the bench. If it was down in the cupboard, would I ever get it out? Probably not, because I just open the fridge and go, oh, what am I going to have out of there? So think about, yeah, just sort of useful things that can help you get prepared to eat well. Accountability. Who's ever written in a food diary? Who's writing in a food diary at the moment? A few of you? Great. This writing in a food diary is probably one of the best things that you can do to improve your nutritional intake. Okay, just the actual habit of writing it down will make you realise, really, did I eat that? And then if you show it to someone, that's going to even just furtherfold increase your accountability. I don't know what you think, Emma, but all my clients who have written in food diaries have been far more successful with their nutrition. And it's a habit that's hard to create to begin with, but it is just a habit. And you may only need to do it for sort of a week or so to get started and set yourself some targets from there. You've also got lots of online apps, so if you prefer to do it on your phone, you can do it like that. But what you're going to do now is, if you just take the white piece of paper, you're going to write down what you've eaten today. And you're going to be very honest. And no leaving anything off. See if you can remember everything. The key with a food diary is write it as you go, if you can, because sometimes you do tend to forget what you've been eating. So write this on the white piece of paper, and then you're going to show it to your new buddy. And you're going to tell them one thing that you could improve on for the rest of your week with your nutrition. Okay, so I'm going to give you just a few minutes to do that. Some principles that you need to follow are, you need to write down everything. Okay, so you need to write down the type of bread that you ate, the spread that you had on it, how much you had of everything. So you don't just write chocolate. Okay, you write 2 times more bars or one little square of dark chocolate. You know, it's very, very different. So you need as much detail as possible. You also need to write down the time that you eat. Okay, because then you can start to identify, are there big gaps between breakfast and lunch. The last thing that I'd recommend that you write down is how you feel. Okay, so that's in terms of, do you feel tired, do you feel bloated, do you feel energetic? And then you can start to piece together, well, this type of food makes me feel really energised after I eat it, this type of food doesn't, or hang on, I haven't had enough water on that day, maybe that's why I feel a little bit tired. So the more detail, the better. Okay, so I want you to share it with the buddy that you met at the start of this evening, and tell them just one thing that you're going to do better, improve on for the rest of the week in terms of your nutrition. Emma, what are you going to improve on for the rest of your week?
Well, I actually haven't drunk enough water today.
Okay, how much water do you think you've had
I
today?
probably only had about 2 glasses of water today.
Okay, so for the rest of the week, how much water are you going to drink during the day?
I drink my 2 litres. I haven't drunk any green tea either
Okay.
today. That's a sin for me.
And sometimes you don't even realise it until you write it down. If you were in this situation, I mean, Emma, probably you quite often drink 2 litres of water, would you? Yeah. But if you're in a situation where it's like, well, 2 glasses is normal for you, then think about making 3 glasses your target rather than 2 litres, okay? Because jumping to 2 litres is going to be too much. Does anybody else want to share one?
I was just going to say, I got told that if you're drinking a lot and go to the toilet a lot, you should stop drinking so much. Because it's just going straight through you anyway.
Yeah, I mean, the colour of your pee is definitely a sign of how hydrated you are. So if it's going like absolutely clear, like it's just water, then yeah, you're probably a little bit overhydrated. So if it's just that really, really light straw colour, then that's sort of what you're looking for. If it's bright yellow, dark yellow, brown, that's extreme dehydration. I think brown is like really extremely dehydrated. So just keep your nutrition goals in mind, because we are going to move on to goal setting now. We're halfway through. And you might have some specific nutrition goals that you want to set. You might have goals in other areas. So I'm going to spend the first part of the goal setting session just going through some of my own goals. So it's a very private thing. I'm sharing with you guys like all my big fitness goals. So just to let you know, like my partner and I, we both regularly set goals together in lots of different areas. So I'm sharing with you today my health and fitness goals. We set financial goals, we set business goals, we set community goals, family goals as well. So we have, goals in all these areas, and they're all stuck up on our wall as well to help with our accountability and make sure that we achieve them. They're big goals as well, so some of these goals on here, yeah, they are big. Am I definitely going to achieve them all? I'm not sure, but if they're a little bit smaller, they wouldn't excite me as much, and I know I will achieve them. It's just sometimes the time frames get extended just a little bit. But yeah, so I want you to start thinking about what some of your own goals are as I go through them. Now you guys are going to be setting long, medium and short-term goals. As I go through my goals, I'm just going to show you how they cover sort of certain goal setting rules. Okay, so my fitness goals for 2014. The first one, my stomach measurement. So my goal is to get that back to my pre-pregnancy measurement. So as it stands, as I said, I've got an 8-week-old baby. I was really big pregnancy, like I just went right out the front, didn't really go much else, but it was just right out here. So I think I'm doing quite well. I do get commented on all the time still that I am pregnant, or I either get asked, am I pregnant, or people tell me that I'm pregnant. And it's only because my partner makes me feel so good about my body, and he's so supportive that I still just wear my fitted clothes, I'm like, whatever, like I do ask him all the time. Most people say, does my bum look big in this? I say, does my stomach look big in this? And I try on all these different tops, and then I just wear the tight one anyway. But I've got 15 centimetres still to lose. Okay, so yeah, I'm 8 weeks postnatal at the moment. So my goal, I am going to enter the 20-week challenge. Have you guys heard of that? I think it's something that Emma gets involved in, so you can ask her more information about that. I've been a trainer on that for the last 4 years. This year I am going to be entering as a client. I won't be training anyone. I will be a client, so I'll be on the other side. So that runs from April to August, so over the winter months, and I want to get that stomach measurement down, sometime within that challenge, definitely by the end of that, so to my pre-pregnancy level. Now that fits into an aesthetic category, so that's really just because first of all I want to fit back into my old clothes. Okay, that would be great, and yeah, I just want to feel confident and good about myself, so that's an aesthetic goal. A half marathon in May. Okay, so I've entered the St Clair. That was before I could even run again. I mean, I haven't run for over a year. I've started jogging the last couple of weeks. It's basically hell. I hate it right now. I used to love running. I ran my first full marathon about 4 months before I got pregnant. And yeah, I used to love running. So I want to get back into that because I want to love running again. And I want it to just be a base for achieving other things later on, okay? The reason why I like doing running, and goals have to be important to you for a reason, okay? For me, it's just my time out. It's like forget about everything. It's be outside, enjoy the fresh air. And it fits into a cardiovascular fitness goal, okay? I've already set my 20-week challenge goals. I haven't even chosen a trainer or anything yet, but so I'll be able to tell them what my goals are when I start. 5 chin-ups. Is that a big goal for me? Yes, it is. Pre-pregnancy, I could do maybe 3, but I definitely can't do 1 at the moment. But again, I said my goals have to be kind of big enough for me to get excited about them. Will I be able to do 5? Yes, I think I will achieve this goal because I could do 3 when I wasn't really training in strength. So strength's an easy thing for me. Flexibility is not an easy thing for me. This is probably going to be the biggest thing, the splits. So I want to do 3-way splits. When was the last time I did 3-way splits? Well, when I was 13 and I quit competitive gymnastics. And I was a competitive gymnast, but I am now like the most extremely inflexible person, even though I do yoga twice a week and I practice yoga at home. So this is going to be the big one, 50 push-ups. maybe I don't even know if I can do any full push-ups at the moment. I can do probably about 20 half ones, but my abdominals split a lot when I was pregnant, so they're separated at the moment. And to do a full push-up, I can feel that really strongly in my abdominals, so I need to work on my half push-ups first. So these two will be big goals, but I kind of, like, I know I can do those. This one, not so sure about. This one I know I can do as well. Whether I run the whole way or not, it's irrelevant to me. Just want to do that. And this, well, who knows? But yeah, so these are my goals, and there's different categories: strength, flexibility, cardio, aesthetics. So I want you to start thinking about some of your goals as well. Now we're going to be setting long, medium and short term. Long term, I want you to think sort of 6 to 12 months from now, or it could be further on from that. Now most people have quite a lot of trouble thinking further on from a year because those are really, really big goals. Okay, but I encourage you, if you can think beyond a year to bigger goals, then please do so. Medium term, I want you to think sort of 3 months from now, so going into winter, where do you want to be? And short term would be 4 weeks from now. So we'll go over this again as you guys do your goal setting. And you have to think about why these are important to you. So, you know, this aesthetic goal, feeling good about myself, you know, that would be a reason. And also fitting back into my clothes. I hate shopping. I don't want to buy new clothes. You know, why are these things important to me? It's mainly to have my body, I guess, feeling as strong and fit as I did when I was actually doing gymnastics. It's to be able to keep up with my daughter later on as she grows up as well. Like, those are sort of the deeper why reasons, I guess. Yeah, and these are sort of a base for other things that I want to achieve in later years. Okay, so I have set some goals going forward as well. And you guys might think this is all a bit crazy, but I wrote a bucket list once. And then just before Ayla was born, I think, I actually went through and I put these all into years, so right up to sort of 10 years from 2013, so sort of all those goal areas have been covered now. So this is building up to my backwards and forwards walkovers, my back flip and flip flag, which probably those sort of things I've done maybe 5 to 10 years ago, but it's been a while, so I have done them before. I know the form and the technique, but I've got to build that base to actually get there. I want to also do my grade 2 kayak certificate. That's for a bigger goal later on, so doing the coast to coast. Okay, I've been talking about the coast to coast for a while, but it's always been a few years away, so I actually said, right, this is the date, it's 2018. The year before I'm going to do the Gold Rush. Okay, but in order to do that I need to actually buy a mountain bike. I need to, well, I've got a road bike, so I'm just getting into a bit of road biking again. I need to get my kayak certificate. I need to actually buy a kayak. So I've sort of set these goals. There's some snowboarding goals there. Oh look, we've got a half Ironman. That's just because it didn't really fit in until later on. So I'm going to focus on the coast to coast one first. 2023 have completed all the Great Walks in New Zealand. So I've done 3 or 4 of them at the moment. So that means that's how we do our holiday planning as well. It's like, well, we've got to do one of those this year. Where are we going to go? And these are some of my other goals as well. And walking the Te Araroa Trail, the length of New Zealand, that fits in with financial goals. It's like, well, how are we going to be able to afford to take 4 months off to actually do that goal? Okay, so yeah, it's a 10-year goal. But, you know, think big. So those are my goals. Like I said, you guys are going to be setting some long, medium and short-term goals. I want you to think what category they fit into: cardio, strength, aesthetic. Is it a lifestyle goal? Okay. Your goals need to be SMART. You guys have probably heard of this. Who can tell me what the S in SMART stands for? Specific. Yep. So it has to be pretty clear what your actual goal is. So my 5 chin-up goal, for example, that's pretty clear. It's 5 chin-ups. What's the M?
Measurable.
Measurable. What's the can I do 5? So I've found some way of measuring it. A?
Achievable.
Achievable. Yep. And so it has to be achievable, definitely, but I encourage you to think big as well. Okay, you'll know what sort of person you are If you think that you would be really, really deflated if you set a big goal and you didn't reach it, then set one that, you know, seems quite big and exciting, but that you know that you'll achieve. Whereas if I definitely achieved all of my goals, I'd be like, oh, that was really stupid. I should have set bigger ones, and you know, I'd sort of be the other way around. So there's that saying, reach for the stars and you'll fall in the clouds. So set big goals, and then you'll still achieve nearly all of them.
Realistic.
Yep, can stand for realistic, so sort of same as achievable, or also relevant. Okay, so they've got to be relevant to you, okay, important to you. And T, time bound, yeah, time specific. So most of my 2014 goals are going to be achieved in August, which is the end of the 20-week challenge, okay. But I'm starting them now. So I'm not of the mindset of lots of the 20-week challenges that just like eat all that they want and don't do any exercise till the start of the challenge. I've started now, but I know my goals are big as well, so I need to be working on them from now. They need to be positively stated, so I will do 5 chin-ups. Examples, I said to my mum, you know, what are your goals for this year? And she says, don't stress and don't rush. And I said, that's great, but they don't cover this rule here. They're telling her what not to do, okay? If you hear the word don't stress, okay, the don't almost becomes irrelevant and all you hear is that word stress. It's not, doesn't cover any of the sort of the smart stuff either. It doesn't really tell me, well, what does stressing mean to you, or what does rushing mean to you. Okay, they need to be important to you, not important to your partner, or your children. It's got to be something that you want to do for yourself. Okay, and you need to understand sort of the deeper emotional reasons of why they're important. Okay, it's not, I don't want to run a half marathon just because I want to run a half marathon. You know, I want to achieve that again so I can keep up with my daughter as she grows up, so that I can feel energetic and happy and enjoy the outdoors. You know, those are the reasons for that goal. And then maybe we'll share a few. So I'd like you to take, well, you've got 2 pieces of paper. You've got the yellow and the pink. On the pink one, we're going to give those ones to Emma. Okay, so you're going to write your name at the top of that one, write your goals on that, and you're going to give it to Emma so that she's got just a record of what you say you're going to do, and I'll leave that up to her as to how she makes you accountable to those, whether she wants to take photos of them and put them on Facebook and remind you. Nah, you have to get your permission to do that, of course, or she might decide to email you later or check back in how you're going with these goals. And then the yellow page is just your one to keep, okay? So write them as big and bold as you can. Write them in positive language. You might only have 1 goal, you might have 5 goals. If you need more paper, we've got plenty more paper as well. How are we going for time? Personally, I chose to choose my stomach measurement because I don't really care what I weigh. I think I'd weigh an extra 8 kilos from what I did pre-pregnancy, but it doesn't really worry me if I don't see that same number on the scales again, but I would like to fit back into my clothes. And as long as I keep these boobs, there's going to be a few more kilos on there anyway, so I'll be sticking around for a while. Okay, 1 more minute, and you know, don't worry if you haven't set yourself a whole lot of goals, or just try and get one thing down at least, because maybe you'll go home and it'll get you thinking, and maybe over the next few days or the next week you'll come up with something. Go home and talk to your loved ones, and maybe they'll spark some interest in something. And so I want you to write down whatever you've decided. I want you to make sure you write on that pink piece of paper, put your name on it, because Emma's going to get those at the end. So who wants to share some goals? Who wants to share a long term? Does anyone have a really, really, really big, awesome health and fitness goal? Yes, what's your name?
Nigel,
Nigel, what's your really big fitness goal?
I would like to enter in the NABBA competition in August, which is held in Christchurch. And that's the National Amateur Bodybuilding Association,
In August, so August this year?
August this year.
Cool, so it's just sort of on that long term, like around that 6 months, isn't it? It's an awesome goal. Cool, and what are going to be your targets to get there, or your short term, like your medium and short term goals?
Well, I actually have to lose some weight to get into a category already,
Yeah.
and I don't do a lot of running or cardio, so I just want to see what is achievable for me within a month,
Mhm.
and then know where I can go and how long I have to.
And so, how much weight do you need to lose to get into that category?
I need to lose 2 kilos.
2 kilo. Okay, cool. So then you write that out specifically. Yeah, I will lose 2 kilos. Yeah. Cool, awesome goal, and that's, I mean, the actual competition goal is specific because it's time bound, and you're just saying you want to enter it, yeah?
Yes.
Yeah. So someone, I mean, you could set that goal and you could say, I want to win this as well. So you could take it that step up, or you could say, I want to enter it. Just like for me, I want to complete the half marathon. I don't want to beat any of my previous times. I just want to do it. Okay, so I'm probably going to be 20 to 30 minutes slower than I normally would be. So that's why I haven't gone that route. Just like entering a competition, you could say that you want to win it, or you could say you want to enter it. Does anyone else have a big goal they want to share? What about a medium term or a shorter term? Any goal that you want to share?
Start yoga.
Start yoga.
Next month.
So next month, meaning next week?
But
So it'll be
the next
February?
4 weeks I have to have started.
Okay, so started meaning like having gone to one class.
Yeah, so I need to find a class.
Cool, so that's part of your preparation leading up. So you're just wanting to complete like actually one class in the month of February, is that right?
Yeah, head start. I want to be doing it every week, but have started within the next 4 weeks.
Okay, good. So have committed to a weekly class.
Yeah.
Yep, so get as specific as you can for your goals. Within the next 4 weeks, I will have committed to a weekly yoga class, and I will have been to at least one of those yoga classes. Yeah. Now, if you've got a short-term goal like that, like a 4-week goal, I encourage you to set sort of one target per week for the next 4 weeks as well. So, for example, for the first week, that might be figuring out what yoga classes are on offer. The second one might be actually choosing one and booking it in. So you might plan, for that third week to actually attend that class. And then if you think, something might come up, then I guess then you've still got the 4th week as well. So get specific. Did you come up with something? What's your name?
Jason.
Jason, did you come up with something?
Well, Harley, I can read from here.
That's definite. Just to eat healthier, regular meals.
Healthier, regular meals. So what would constitute eating healthier for you? Like, how could you get more specific with that?
Or maybe just not binge it, like actually making meals for lunch and stuff like that.
I mean,
Okay.
you need much to make them for you.
So how many, so lunch specifically, is it?
Yeah, because I'm always in a rush and I never sit down and plan my meals, so
Mm-hmm.
and then I run out of food, so I end up buying shit.
Okay, so how many lunches would you currently make in a week, do you think?
Probably about 3.
About
Possibly
3?
4, yeah, out of 7.
So, 3 days a week, okay. And so what would you like your goal to be? How many days per week do you want to be making lunch?
At least 5 during the working week.
Good. So that's how we make our goal more specific, measurable, makes us more likely to achieve it. Like if you keep it kind of vague and go, I'm going to make my lunch more often, well, how much more often? Okay, if he's making it 3 days a week, then I think 5 days a week is a really good target. And then he can have his takeaway lunch for the other 2 days. Cool. And so that's a 4-week goal, Jason?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. One more. Who wants to share a goal? One more.
I'm going to start a walk run challenge for the City to Serve.
Great. So like a plan, like a walk run plan
Yeah.
to get you up to the City to Serve.
Yeah.
And you're going to start in the next 4 weeks?
Yeah. Starting tomorrow.
Cool. So tomorrow we'll start a walk run plan. How many days a week?
I think it's 3 or 4 days a week to start with, and then it just increases each week.
Cool.
Yeah.
So write it out again as specifically as possible. So I'm going to run 3 to 4 days per week, starting from this week. Okay, and think about, do you need to do anything to actually prepare for that, or are those sessions in your calendar, or? Yeah, so think about those targets, those things that you have to do to actually prepare to achieve that goal as well. So we've just got a few minutes left, so let's just cover these last couple of things. How are you guys going to be accountable to your goals? Are you going to take this piece of paper and like hide it away, and what are you going to do with it?
Put it on the fridge.
Put it on the fridge. That's a good place because lots of people will see it, well at least all the people in your family. Where else could you put it?
In the fridge.
Yeah, in the pantry. Yeah, if your goals are very closely based to nutrition, then in the fridge could be a good place. Maybe inside the chocolate packet or whatever it is. Or you could decide not to have those things in your fridge at all as well. So in the fridge, on the fridge, where else?
In your bathroom?
The bathroom, yep. So bathroom's a good one because sort of stand there brushing your teeth. So you could be reminded about your goals every time you're doing that.
On the toilet door.
On the toilet door, yep. Whenever you have visitors come over, they're going to see them as well. So they're going to ask you, how are those goals going? Or what's this on the back of your toilet door? Okay, that's more accountability. The more people you can tell, the more likely your goals are going to come true. Okay, the more likely you're going to stick with them. I've put my goals all over the internet at the moment. So I've been doing a pre and postnatal blog. So I've been showing my stomach every month and doing my measurements and telling whoever's listening what I'm going to achieve as well. So yeah, the more people that you can tell, the better. Like I said, my partner and I have got our goals up on our wall. Okay, we have regular sort of sit downs and talk about what we want to achieve and family goals. It is important to have support of others to achieve your goals. Okay, so if you've got people in your life that are sort of negative, then maybe don't share your goals with them, but share them with positive people who are going to encourage you, because hopefully the people who are closest to you in your life are supportive, because you're going to be a lot more likely to achieve them. Accountability as well. Maybe you want to buddy up with someone. Okay, maybe you want to exchange numbers with the person that I sat you down with at the start of the session, and be accountable to your goals. With an accountability buddy, I mentioned at the start that I'm writing a couple of books this year, and I have a book writing buddy. So I started my book over a year ago, and pretty much nothing got done on it last year because I was busy seeing clients and looking after my clients, and this year I'm not seeing clients. I'm like, as soon as, when Ayla's asleep, and at the moment she sleeps a lot, so I have plenty of time for writing, but I actually need that person to meet once a month to say, yeah, I've done what I've said I'm going to do for this month, or else I just know that dream will sort of slip away and it won't actually happen. And the thing is that I do love writing, but for some reason it just sort of went down the list all the time. So think about, could you have an accountability buddy? The last thing, really importantly, barriers. Okay, I want you to think about any barriers that you might have to success. So what sort of things are maybe going to stop you achieving your goals? What things might get in the way of you achieving what you want to?
Injuries.
Injuries. Yep, so think about any potential barriers, okay, and then think, how am I going to avoid those, or how am I going to minimise the likelihood of those happening? So with yours, with bodybuilding, that's that's something that's probably quite probable in that area, so you're going to need to make sure that you look after your body as much as you can, whether that's through stretch and relax sort of sessions, your sleep as well, your nutrition, your recovery. That's going to all help that ensure that you don't get injured. Okay, so you've got to think about your barriers and think, well, what can I do to minimise those? A barrier for me in nutrition would be me going to the supermarket and being like, oh, I want that and I want that and all that looks good. Whereas I choose to shop online, so that doesn't become a barrier for me in terms of nutrition. Okay, if it's not in my fridge, then I generally tend not to want it or crave it. But if it's there, then I want it. Okay, so when you're writing your goals, maybe just note down, these are the barriers and these are the things I'm going to try to do to minimise or eliminate them. So I believe it's exactly 1 hour.
Well done, Ellie.
That is the end of the goal setting presentation. So hope you guys have got something, just like one thing even to take away from tonight. Might be lots of things, but try and focus just on 1 or 2 things that you can actually action, because it's all very well going, oh yeah, I'm going to do this and this and this, but make sure you action at least one thing after tonight. And if you've got any questions on nutrition or goal setting or anything else, then I'll be around afterwards. Obviously Emma is a wealth of knowledge as well, so please ask her any questions that you have too. If anyone's interested in finding out about one of the books that I'm writing is a book on fat burning. Okay, so it's called Burning Fat for Good, and I am just giving away sections of that as I'm writing it. So I wrote the introduction a long time ago and I gave that away, and then when I've nearly finished the nutrition chapter, which is sort of an expansion of some of the stuff that we've gone through tonight. So if you'd like to find out more about that, then just put your email down and I can send you a PDF copy of that when I've done it. And that's my accountability too, because then I tell the people, I'm going to give you this. So that makes me write my book. Also, there's just a few leaflets on sort of weight loss. This is a little goal setting card which you can write some of your goals on, put it in your wallet is another place to have it, and some business cards as well. So thank you guys very much for listening. Thanks again, Emma, for having me, and yeah, have a great evening and good luck with all your goals.
Thank you.
Guys.